Hey, this is James Burton with ARBuildJunkie. During the course of a recent phone interview I was doing with Kris Paronto, somewhere along the way of the conversation, it sounded like a good idea to not chop this up and transcribe it, but actually go with it as a quote unquote podcast. So I apologize for the audio on this. He's over the phone, so it may not sound as clear as I would normally like, but I think you will get the main point. So, this is an interview I did over the phone with Kris Paronto, basically about mindset and staying positive right now. And then towards the end, we do touch a little bit on firearms. So, hopefully, this will help you. That's pretty much it. So, I will cut it off here and edit in the phone call. So, thanks for listening. So, I don't know
Well,
how to start it. So, I just have you maybe kick it
yeah,
off.
no, it's easy. I think a lot of guys, especially the ones that deployed, forgot how mundane days were in some of these areas we were at. And I posted a little picture of a camp. It looked like it wasn't mine, but it was a little meme somebody made. And but yeah, I'm very passive aggressive when I say stuff because sometimes I'm making fun, sometimes I'm not, because I do believe that some of this stuff needs to be made fun of so you don't take it too damn seriously, whether it's serious or not. The more humor you can put into something, the more you're able to handle it, no matter the seriousness. That's why I joke during firefights. I mean, it's like I'm joking because it's already bad enough. Why do you need to make it worse by the doom and gloom that you're seeing 24/7 on the media? I mean, it's already bad enough that there is that that you're home, that you're not working, or whatever other stressors you have. Why not laugh a little bit? And there's still, you can still take things seriously. You're not throwing the seriousness to the wayside. You're just looking at it through a different lens is all. And that's just me. And I honestly believe most guys from the 75th Ranger Regiment, at least when I was in at that time in the 90s, are like that, because you got through the misery by laughing and joking. It really was. It was, how do you, and that's where the embracing the suck comes from. I mean, hey, this sucks. Fucking give it a big hug and let's just keep having fun with it. So with what's going on right now, and again, let me get back to the camp thing. I know I kind of spun off there. uh, Guys were deployed. Men and women were deployed for a long periods of time. A lot of these camps were just filled with filth and sickness and disease. I mean, they were, just because you're in a confined space and you're in a third world country, and it doesn't make a difference. And I think people forgot that, especially veterans that had deployed. So if there's ones out there that are really having a hard time with this, you got to remember, man, we've been through that before. And granted, there was a mission at the end of it, so maybe that's what took minds off it. And yes, also, yeah, we were getting paid, so there wasn't that stressor of not making money, which is a stressor. It's a stressor for everybody. But we also found a way to get through the mundane daily routines, because if you think about it, we were quarantined in an area. It's not like you could, until I started working with the CIA, it's not like you could go out the gate and just go shopping. I mean, you were stuck on a base with people that became your family, and using porta potty shitters that you hope you didn't have to sit on and catch crabs from, because somebody put it on the toilet seat there because they're dirty. The same food, you have to find ways to make yourself busy. And to me, it's similar. I mean, I don't see the difference in it, except I get to be with my real family now, which is better. So I'm like, well, how is this quarantine worse than what it was when we were overseas? It's not at all. In fact, to me, it's even better, because I get to actually be with my family, where when I'm overseas, I'm also away from them, on top of being in that quarantine facility, on top of, when you do go out the wire, you may not come back. You may die. It's why it's just, this is like, wow, man, this is, to me, this has really been an opportunity for people to reconnect with their families, to reconnect with faith and values. It really has been, because this is the opportunity for you to be home. And we got so busy with our lives, with me even traveling, the last 4 years traveling, doing these speaking events, promoting the movie. I had that third book out that was recently released, The Patriots Creed. I even wasn't able to get home and be home, because my life was so important. I had to be going 100 miles an hour in different directions, instead of really being where I needed to be, and that was home. So this forced time out, I guess, or forced vacation. Really, if people look at it through the positive lens, through that rose-colored glasses, or look at it, or those that are half full out there, look at the glasses to the half empty, they see it as definitely see it as, and everybody should see it this way, as an opportunity to improve yourself, improve your faith, improve your family life, improve yourself. I mean, you don't need a gym. Believe me, you don't. And a lot of guys out there that work downrange too know that you don't need a gym or even a large area to get into great shape. A lot of it is just isometric exercise, doing push-ups and sit-ups. None of these cities, they actually have, as far as I know, you actually have to stay in your house. So I know here in Omaha, I'm an avid runner regardless. I run all the time anyway. That's it's spiritual to me. When you get into running and you're an avid runner, running becomes more than just exercise. It becomes a spiritual release. It really does. But I've seen more people outside walking and I've seen more joggers out in my neighborhood. I see kids playing outside. So they're getting exercise that they weren't getting before because their lives were so damn busy. Once they got home, they just wanted to sit on their ass and watch TV. Which, hey, I've been there. I get it. You have to those were the days I had to force myself out of the house to go run. A lot of people don't have that intestinal fortitude to force your ass out of the house to go work out. And that's not knocking them. That's just the nature of the beast. But now you've got all this time. Man, go improve yourself. And then when all this, and I do believe a lot of it has been a lot of this hysteria, and there don't get me wrong, there is a disease out there, and it's killing, it's killing old people. Just put it simply, it is. And those with some serious prior conditions. The majority of people, and people said 95%, if not more, in the world, if you look actually at stats and not watch the news, 95% of the world that have got this, and the people, I think there's like close to 500,000 that have had it, are either recovered or they're going to recover. 95%. So that's huge. People don't see that. They see the 5% that are dying, but then they fail to look into, well, did they have diseases? What was their age? So forth, prior conditions. But bottom line is once this hysteria ends, which has been, the hysteria was really perpetrated by the mainstream media, and that includes Fox News. They're part of that. I know, like, the gun owners don't like to hear that, but I'm being honest with you. You got to be honest with yourself now. Once this all ends, you've put yourself in a position to set yourself up for success. You've probably heard that before and if served, you've heard that before. You've set yourself up for success, because once all these quarantines are gone and you're able to get back to work, your head's going to be clear. You're going to have a greater faith in, I believe in God or whatever, but you can have, whatever you want to believe in is fine to me. And also you're going to be stronger physically. And when you're physically stronger, you have more confidence. That makes you mentally stronger. Or again, you can just be so sad and hate your life, and I can't go see the Starbucks barista, so I'm not getting my social contact. You can feel that way, and then when all this ends, you just go down, or you just continue to spiral. It's your choice. I honestly say that. I say this during my speeches, and I've said it. I know other motivational speakers have said it before too. I'm not the one. I didn't coin the phrase, but I honestly believe it. You can't control what's going on around you. You can't control other people, what they're doing. You can't control their attitudes. But what you can always control, what you always have control of, is your own attitude. And if you want to be sad and down in the dumps, that's up to you. I mean, that's on you. Nobody's going to get you out of that except yourself. If you want to be positive and happy and look at things with a positive light and try to make the best out of every situation, that's up to you too. So that's where we're at. I know I'm going I'm probably saying the same thing in different. Shit, you've done this with me before. I am. Yeah. I just kind of go around in circles, man. But that's what I believe in.
So just a few more things, and I'll let you go. Can you talk about the importance of positive self-talk, and how do you talk to yourself to kind of stay up and remind yourself of what you're talking about?
Yeah, so my daughter says I do talk to myself. I didn't even realize I was doing it. but I know it's not speaking literally, but I do talk to myself just to, I don't know. That's just my craziness. But figuratively, like I said, I just get up in the morning and I count the blessings that I have. And that's not a cliche. I know that sounds cliche-ish, but it's not. It is like, man, I get to be home. How awesome is this that I get to wake up and be at home? How awesome is this that I can go. I don't have to force a workout in today. I can go when I want. I have time to read a book. I have time to spend with my son. I mean, I have a 4-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 15-year-old. I have time to spend with my daughter. I have time to spend with my oldest son. Even though he's 15, he doesn't want to spend time with his dad anymore. But that's what you get to do. So it's just you wake up and you wake up with the not what I don't get to do. That's not the mindset. When you get up in the morning, it's not what I don't have, or I don't get to do, or I don't get to see, or it's what do I have? What do I get to do? What is going to be enjoyable today? What are my lucky and counting my blessings to have this morning? It's how you wake up. If you wake up with the mindset of, man, everything's awful, guess what? Your day's pretty much going to be awful. It is. You've set yourself up. The man thinks it as a man thinketh, so is he. That's how it's going to be. If he thinks he's beaten down, he's going to be beaten down. It's mind over matter. And again, it was stuff we've heard for generations, but it's spot on. These cliches are right. But if you wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, like I do, I woke up this morning, I have a window by my bed. It's a little cloudy, but it's starting to warm up in Nebraska, which makes us all happy. It's finally not butt ass cold. But yeah, I'm looking outside. I got some trees. I'm thinking, okay, I can get some stuff done today. I go downstairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to hurry up and get on a phone call. I got till 11 to get the call done. I get a cup of coffee, and I can just enjoy it. And I open the windows, and we got cardinals all around our house, so I'm hearing the birds chirp. And like, okay, I injured my knee yesterday running, but I have a gym at my house. I'm thinking, okay, what kind of workout do I get to do today? Not that what kind of workout do I have to do, but what do I get to do today downstairs? Because I got all the time in the world out. And I was thinking to myself, man, the one phone call day is all I got. And then I got the rest of the day to myself and to play with my kids. And what I did? I actually, me and my wife grabbed squirt guns, and we took our 4-year-old and we had a squirt gun fight this morning. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's like, oh my gosh, this is what you get to do. This is the positive. And then the rest of the day is unknown as far as the evening goes, but I know it's going to be good because I've already set myself up with the mindset that it's going to be a good day. That's all it takes. It really is that simple. That's all it takes.
Just a few more.
Yeah, good, bro. Take your time. Like I said, I'm not working either, man.
Okay.
I have no. I mean, everything got canceled. All my speaking events, all the training I've got going on. They are canceled because the states we're in, they're all shut down. And the corporations, they of course they don't want to take a chance to have a speaking event, somebody get this disease, because not that I honestly think that, yeah, they're worried about some of their workers, but I think they're more worried also that they would get sued out of their ass if somebody got. So yeah, I got time, dude.
Okay.
I know you may be on a schedule, but I'm not. I got all the time.
Well, I got two more then. So a big one for me that's bothered me is just that fear of the unknown, and your mind races to a point where it's like, I'm a Knights Armament fan, so I ended up spending $3,000 on a Knights Armament rifle just to have an extra. I was like, well, two is one, one is none, and I'm like, yeah. So I bought another rifle. That happened because my mind raced and there was a fear of the unknown, and I started fearing. I'm in a suburb. There's nothing happening here versus maybe in an inner city, but there's that idea that it's going to be Mad Max. I'm not a single guy. I've got a family. What do I do? And the fear of the unknown takes over. Can you talk a little bit about squelching that down, and what is realistic versus not?
Well, that's where I believe the media, and also I believe President Trump could have done a better job. And I've been very, granted, I got no problem with President Trump as far as just sometimes he says some of the stupidest shit, but I honestly think he was doing a good job. Right. I mean, but he just says off the cuff. He says he just the way it comes out. His presentation sucks. Let's put it that way. But that is something that they could have quelled. They could have squelched right there. Just say, hey, this is being honest. Hey, this is serious, but just simple words, don't panic. I know people are like, oh, everybody's going to panic when he says don't panic. No, you're not. If it comes across well, they didn't do that. And then you saw the toilet paper fiat, which I don't know where the hell that came from. I mean, toilet papers do not. But when that happened and people started panic buying, that created more panic. I say this during my speaking events because I've seen it before downrange. Panic will breed panic. Panic is like if one person panics, it's like throwing gas on a fire, dude. Then another one will panic. Then another one will panic. And that's what happened. Now, I don't blame you for having another gun. Dude, I've got like 15. What am I going to say? I got shitloads of guns. But the panic buying, that could have been stopped right at the beginning if the leadership would have stepped in and said publicly, and even the leader said, "Hey, turn your news off." It's like I'm telling you, and I'm not calling myself a leader, but just this is what you need to do if you want to calm your ass down. Turn the damn news off. And a leader could have went on and said, "Hey, same thing. Turn the news off, guys. We're going to give you reports. We're going to tell you the statistics, but we've got a handle on it. We've got control of it." Or being honest, we don't have a handle on it right now, but we're getting there, and we will. And we will. We have the greatest doctors in the world. We're going to get it figured out. It's going to get it stopped. It will. And it's a virus. Viruses sometimes just have to play out. You've had kids. Have you ever taken your kid to the doctor? What do the doctors say when they have a sickness and it's a virus? Can't do nothing for you. You just got to let it get through the system. Well, that's how it is. That's the same thing going on here. So that is one aspect is I wish the leadership would have come out and just said, "Hey, relax, guys, calm down. We're good. We've got a handle on it." And we will. If we don't, we're going to get a handle on it. But the other thing, and this comes back through the special operations training, most guys, whether you're going through SEAL, going through BUDS, whether you're going through Ranger Indoc, which is now RASP, and then you have to go through Ranger School later, selection, SF selection, pararescue, all. Most guys quit, not because they can't physically do it. You'll get a few drops because of the physicality of it, or they'll get an injury. Most guys quit because people don't realize, when I call them fuck games, the mind games instructors play with guys. They never tell you what's going to happen the next day. They never tell you what you have. They just say, "This is what you need for the next day. Be prepared for whatever." That makes guys quit so quick because they are anticipating and their mind starts racing, and then they start overthinking it, and your mind starts playing tricks on you, and guys like this. And it is so much worse than they actually think it's going to be. I mean, it's so much worse than it actually is not going to be. That's what they put in their heads. It's going to be worse, terrible. And then they quit. And then the guys that hang on, like myself, we get to the next game like, "Oh shit, that wasn't that bad." Then we start figuring it. They're just playing mindfuck games, and that's part of the game. That's part of special operations. That's part of just making it into the special operations community. You have to be able to control your mind because, in combat, you can't think of worst case scenarios like, "Oh my God, this is what's going to happen. They're going to come at us with." I mean, you prepare for it, but you can't just let your mind race where you create panic, because once you create panic, you're no good. Colonel Cooper's color codes, I'm sure you've heard of those before. That's what going into the black is. When you panic and your mind continues to race and you're not able to slow it down, that's when you go into that black scenario where you just shut down because you are overwhelmed. Your sensors are in overdrive. They're completely overwhelmed, and they just shut down. You can't think. You have to be able to control that. Guys that go in the special operations community and those that have seen multiple combats and have done well in those combats, because there's a difference. I mean, being blown up doesn't mean that you can handle yourself. Yeah, you've been blown up. Yeah, that's different. But those that have seen and again, but especially the special operations community, because that's part of the vetting process, is that you have to be able to control your mind to not race and get so far out of whack that you can't think anymore, and then you panic, and then that panic leads to more panic. It's the same thing on the other end too. If you're confident and people see that you're confident, relaxed, they become more confident. So it's twofold. You can either go one route, be panicked and buy in that panic, go to the store, see everybody buying all the toilet paper on the shelves, and be like, "Holy shit, I got to buy all the toilet paper. We're going to have a shortage on it," which is bullshit. Or you can go in the store and do your normal shopping. And people do see that. I do. When I go in I remember I got back. I had just got done speaking for 2 events, one in Kansas City and one in Indiana, the day that this whole thing blew up. I don't know how many hands I've just shook. And the 2 weeks before that, I had been through 2 events in California, one in Texas, and we had no toilet paper. And I go to the store, there's nothing there. So no panic. Me and my daughter, we did? We did a scavenger hunt. I said, we're going to go on a scavenger hunt today, just you and me, and we're going to drive around through Nebraska, and we're going to find us some toilet paper, and and then we wrote a list of other stuff that we needed because we were out of food because I hadn't been home. And that's what we did. And instead of buying in the panic and being like some of these people screaming and God bless the people at Target and the people at the grocery stores, the mom and pop stores and the big stores, because they really are awesome. They handle themselves awesome, and they are really keeping people in check as far as the hysteria because they're keeping stuff on the shelves the best they can. But why be that person that's panicking at the store, tossing, I saw somebody toss some sanitizing wipes at the checker because the checker made her put 2 of them back because there was a limit on them. Why be that person? Be the person that's going in, and I actually stepped in and said something. And I know, because I know other people at Target, I said, hey, this is what the rules are. It's just how it is. Just relax. But having that relaxed mental state, it's going to lead to more confidence, and people are going to get more relaxed around you. But at the time, dude, it was just complete panic. And that's even when I went on my podcast. I mentioned that. And actually, I wrote something. I wrote something down. Fox, actually, a writer wanted me to write something for their article. And I said the same thing. I said, gun buyers, you need to relax. Don't get it. I know you're buying up and down, but this isn't going to be Red Dawn. We're not the Wolverines. Just chill out a little bit. All right. Get your stuff if you want, but don't overbuy. You don't need to hoard your ammo or anything like that. But if you need something, go grab it. But also the toilet paper and also the other people as well. I said, you just, and I'm saying the same thing I'm telling you right now. You just can't let that uncertainty cause the panic, because then you are no worse to shit. You are just, you're out of it. You're done. You can't think. You can't plan well enough, and you're just in a complete state of chaos. You're close to hysteria every time you hear something on the news. I said, turn the damn news off. That would help. But also, I said, you can't prepare yourself correctly. And you're gonna just maintain that hysteria till it just stresses you out, brother. And you're like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. But I'm going full circle. The reason I don't do that, there's a lot of guys out there from the community that don't do that, is because that's part of our vetting process. When you're going through the stuff, you're going through the indocs, you're going through the buds, that is part of it, is that they never tell you what's going to happen next. And that is 99% of the time, guys quit. Not injuries, but when they actually say, ring that bell, or they go talk to the RIs, or they go talk to the Ranger, 75th Ranger cadre, and quit and say, here, I don't want to do this anymore. It's because they let their minds get them, and that they couldn't physically do it. They panicked because of the unknown. And that is something that I think people, honestly, everybody here, this is great training for America, for everybody in America, is that you don't have that control, man. You can't control everything. There's always going to be an unknown. Yes, plan for the worst case scenario, hope for the best, but don't let that worst case scenario overwhelm you. Just plan for it. Be prepared for it. Once it's prepared, all right, let's go about our business, and that's a little stressor off my mind. And all right, let's go have some lunch, man, or let's go for a run, or let's go read a book. It takes a lot to get that. You got to train it like anything else. Just like when you're out there training at the range, you have to train your mind to be able to do that. And no, I believe me, there were times even in the last 3 weeks, especially when all my work got canceled and I'm out of work, like, oh shit, what do? I got to provide for my family. But I've felt that panic in me before. I've seen people. Benghazi was a perfect example where all the CIA case officers were panicking. I mean, it was crazy. They were losing their mind, and it was honestly kind of comical and hilarious, because me and Roan and even Boone are just kind of laughing at them. I mean, it was serious, but it was like, this is ridiculous. They're running around with, it's just unbelievable, just like cats. You're squirting a cat with a water gun. But that is where, you feel it. You feel that little bit of stress, and you just don't let it go down that road of panic. You can't let it. You have to just step back, reassess the situation, take a deep breath. That always works. I know your mom and dad told you that. I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to your readers out there. Mom and dad taught us that a long time ago. Take a deep breath, or your coaches from football or basketball, or if you're yeah, especially a bull rider stuff. Hey, take a breath. All right, relax. Have you heard that before? And then decide what you need to do, get it done. All right, figure out a way, make a game out of it, like me and my daughter did with that damn with trying to find toilet paper in Nebraska, and we had a blast. And we drove probably 30 miles, and every little convenience store we'd stop and we'd find stuff, and it was such a great bonding, great bonding time for me and my daughter. It was awesome. And I said, and if there is something you need to do, find a fun way to get it done, especially if you can include a loved one. And there was, and it also helped because my daughter didn't see any panic in my face where I'm like, holy shit, we ain't got any. In my head, I'm going, damn, we ain't got nothing. And everybody's already bought everything up. Okay, but we did it, and it was the funnest day. It was one of the funnest days I've had in a long time. And we got all of our groceries done, even though we had to stop at 3 or 4 different places. But it was and we had to go way outside of Omaha to get them. But it was still it was fun. And when we got home, sense of accomplishment. We were laughing. I was relaxed. And I was like, oh shit, okay, I still got this. I can still get things done, and not worry about providing for my family, and not worry that we're all going to have stinky buttholes for the next 2 weeks till the next load of toilet paper goes in. So I don't know. I gave you a lot there, brother. I hope it makes sense.
No,
man.
that's good. I've done enough preparation in my life, or whatever, where I feel like I'm a competent guy and that I can be the leader of my family. But at the same time, you'll have those doubts. Is it normal to kind of have those quiet feelings of fear?
You can say fear is, I don't have fear. I just feel adrenaline, or no, I don't feel fear. I just feel motivated. It's the same thing, brother. All it's just adrenaline. It's just now, once I feel that adrenaline, how do I use it in my mind? How do I portray it out? How do I utilize that extra energy that I'm giving, that fight or flight energy? It's the same energy, man. It's not like there's a fear energy in your body and a fight energy in your body. It's the same energy. It's just that motivation, because I got to get ready for the unknown right there. You can turn that into where, man, I'm supposed to be the strong man of the family, but I'm feeling fear, and like, oh my gosh, no, that's just normal. There's nothing abnormal about it. It's how you confront that, whether you call it fear or fight or flight or whatever. What do you do next? That is what tells. And I'll put this, that's what tells what kind of person or man, and in the case we're talking to me and you, what kind of man you are. It's not that you let fear, you don't feel fear, or you don't feel that adrenaline. It's not that. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it every time. I guarantee it's going to be there. And those that tell you it's not are full of shit, or they're freaking Jeffrey Dahmer and they're serial killers. They don't feel anything. There's those guys. You don't want to go that route. That's not. But you're going to feel that. What do you do next? That is where you're going to see if you are going to succeed with your family, succeed and show that strength, or you're not. Have it. In fact, you want that motivation, especially if it is under stressful where you need that. Believe me, that's where the superhuman strength comes from. You see people lifting up cars when they've rolled over and their kids are still in it. That is what it is. They've chose not to let that fear, unbeknownst to themselves, I guarantee you they weren't thinking about it, but their thoughts went straight, I got to save my family. And they let that adrenaline, which was fear too, that let that adrenaline become a positive. It's the same thing, man. You're going to feel that. When you do feel that, how do you get through it? Like I said, when I had that one moment when we had no toilet paper, we were low on food. We have a 4-year-old. We don't have any milk. I sat down and I said, how can we figure this out? Because I go, we're in America. It's not like we're in Baghdad or Kabul where there is no food in some of these places, or the food you're going to find is just rotted. How can we do this where we can still get things done, and I can show some strength to my daughter, and also we can have a fun day doing it? So it was developing. I sat down and developed a plan. What's the goal I needed to accomplish for the family? And how do we do it? And how do we do it where we make it fun? And that was it. It's the same thing that guys have done if you've been in the service or you've served in law enforcement, there's always a goal end state. You know, you have that op order, you have that plan, you're contingency planning, and then you implement the plan, and then you have that goal, that end state you have to complete. It's the same thing. So you can just compartmentalize it that way. So thinking, okay, I'm panicking right now a little bit. It looks like I may not have, I don't work, I'm not getting paid, or we need this, I can't find it. How can I accomplish that where I can find it, or where I can make a little money? What do I need to do? And you just sit down and you just figure it out. And if you sit down and you go, man, there's no way I can do it. Yeah, then you failed. Then you have, because there's always a way. There always is a way, especially we live in the greatest country in the world. Guys, people right now are like, oh, I'm out of work. I'm out of work. Holy shit. I'm seeing FedEx hiring. I'm seeing UPS hiring. I'm seeing every grocery store in the freaking world hiring. I'm seeing people, signs coming up. And you know what? Provide for your family. Sometimes you got to suck it up and you got to go do that to work and make money. I went back and I got recertified as an insurance adjuster yesterday. I did it yesterday because I know there's always going to be hurricanes. I know there's always going to be work, insurance adjusting work out there. And I've been certified as one for 20 some years. So guess what I did? And it takes a lot of stress off of you. So, but I do want guys, men and women, to know, especially the fathers out there, definitely to know, yeah, it's normal. It's normal to feel worried right now. But don't let that uncertainty just put you down that slippery slope where you think you're a failure. This is the chance for you to figure out new ways to accomplish the goal that you need to, and that's providing for your family. And it's awesome. And you can do it together. That's the beauty of it too. You can do everything together with your family. You could maybe even start a business. I tell veterans, do your own podcast. Do something out there that you wanted to do that you didn't have a chance to do it. Again, it goes back to attitude. What are you going to do with your attitude? Are you going to have the defeatist attitude when that fear or that adrenaline comes in? Or are you going to have that attitude that, okay, this adrenaline's coming in, my job is to attack. What do I need to do? And then you develop that plan of what you need to do. It's just, and then you reach whatever goal that is that you need to reach for. And then you try to put humor into it as well. I just am very lucky I can. I've been blessed to have that passive aggressive humor that I pretty much joke about everything. That's just me. Not all guys have that. That's just me. But I hope that makes sense. But it's a great question because fear of the unknown, that's what gets people to fail more than anything. The next would be an injury if it's physical, but 99.9 fear of the unknown and the mind playing games on you, your mind playing tricks on you. That's what gets guys, men and women. But I speak on the men's side because that's what I served with. There weren't women allowed in Rangers and SEALs and all that when I was in. But that's what I saw most people quit. And a lot of them were physically capable, but they couldn't handle that mental mind game. And you have to just take a step back, take a deep breath, and then go ahead and compartmentalize steps down to accomplish whatever goal that may be. And I would love for you to use that example where we didn't have any food. I mean, that's what I did. Military training. I stepped back. How can I still succeed? Even though my local stores here in Omaha, nobody has anything that we need, because that's when everybody was buying all the milk too. Now people have realized that milk only lasts for a week, so you better not hoard the milk. But that's what I did. And then I said, okay, now on top of that, I know we can figure out a way. We're gonna have to drive a little bit, no big deal. We still got gas everywhere, so that's a benefit. How can I do this and also make it fun? And that's when I said, that's when I brought my daughter down. All right, let's scavenger hunt. What stores do you want to hit? And we just picked stores and we drove to each of them outside of and it was a great day to drive too. Blue sky. It was cold, but I'm driving out in middle America. So I'm in Nebraska. So we're driving out in all these rural towns. It was awesome, man. So I think that would be a great example for guys to say, hey, this not just military compartmentalized. This is how you accomplish goals. Not just under combat. You can do it in the most mundane, simple things, and it's benefit for everybody. And like I said, at the end of the day, we had all of our stuff, and it was a great day. It was fun. We had a lot of fun.
As I listened to this interview, I don't know if you'd be opposed to this, and if you are, it's fine. But this would make a really good podcast. Just if you'd be okay with it, I'd clean it up.
I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Of course I don't
Okay.
care. I'm not like that, man. I appreciate you asking. And that'd be fantastic.
Okay,
I would love that. I didn't know if we were going to do a written or a podcast anyway. So
I've never done a podcast before, but
you know what?
I think that this is good enough, and I just hate to start chopping, and I think people might want to hear this. So,
I would love that. If you wouldn't mind me, I may reshare it on my podcast.
oh
I'll
yeah,
reshare it,
for
but
sure.
I'll reshare it on my main page definitely,
Cool.
and that's the one that has the majority of the followers anyway. So
I guess I
yeah,
have one more
brother.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned earlier that this is not Red Dawn, and being a gun guy, it's easy to kind of let your mind race. Can you walk us through what your preparations are? I know you've kind of been out at the range with your son and sighting
Oh
some stuff
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Can you talk us through what you look for in a rifle these days for
Well,
a
of
situation where
course.
there is the unknown? Like, what are you up
Of
to with
course,
that?
of course. And hey, guys, I'm not making fun of because as a gun owner, we get our rights challenged all the time. So it doesn't matter who's president. We always are skeptical of the government, and we always are skeptical, especially of our foreign governments, especially the Chinese government. So I get it. Man, I have, believe me, I call Fort Scott Munitions as the ammo company that I get sponsored by, and I said, hey guys, and they can't keep it on the shelves. I said, guys, send me ammo. I need ammo to train. I need ammo. So it is. You can still prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Don't prepare yourself for World War III, but get out there and shoot. There's a lot of people out there buying guns and stuff right now that don't know how to use them. And that's where we're on our Battalion tactical page. Ben Morgan, one of my instructors, he's actually starting to put videos up of safe weapons handling, which I think is important because I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that have guns, which is great. I don't have a problem with that, but they don't know how to use them, and I hate to see an accident, especially in their house. So, but that on that note, going back to what I like, I am the one contractor former special operations guy that has never been a sniper. I think I'm the only one in the world. Every other one's been a sniper. At least they say they have at some point. I'm not. So I do like my little shorties. I do like short barrel rifles, whether it be a PDW or the PDX, the Maximum Defense PDX, which actually I'll have another Tunnels toolbox coming out here soon with serial number from Maximum Defense Industries. I like their stuff. I have two 5.5-inch barrels, but I also have I also have the long ARs, which really are builds. My lowers, I don't have a problem with any lower. I use Maxim Defense lowers, but I also have two armament lowers. And that Frankenstein gun I still have that Bushmaster lower as well. That last time I went to shoot, we had a 2A upper on it, my Bushmaster lower. It was a flash picture I did. I think it was on Instagram. And then I have a medieval industries. They're called medieval. They're awesome. I'm a 4-in grip guy, and I like a bipod and tripods on some of my longer barrel 16-inch ARs. I have those on my longer barrels. The 4-in grips on my 10-inch barrels, my 8-inch barrels, and they're from Medieval Industries. Or is it Medieval Industries? I want to make sure I get that right, brother, because they're Steve over there is fantastic. Let me make sure. I'm sitting at my computer. Yeah, Medieval Industries is where I get it's a tripod and a bipod length. So, but it's also a modular, so you can actually even make that even into a full-on stand. So, medieval technologies for the attachments of my 4-in grips, and then also my bipod and tripod legs, and then check them out. And then as far as optics, Vortex, I used to be an AOTech guy. I love their razors, especially their 1x6 HDs or Razor HDs. But then the box, I think they're called the AMGs. Make sure, because again, I want to make sure I'm giving people the right info. Razor Vortex. It's the red dot that's really replacing a lot of replacing the EOTechs, the full screen.
Well, they've got a strike fire, don't they? Is like a
But they have
vortex.
this. I have the Strike
Yeah.
Fire. Strike Fire is like the aim point. That's awesome too. No, I have
Okay.
one of those as well. The Strike Fire is on one of my 10-inch barrels. Fantastic, fantastic. It is the Strike Fire. I would say would be the one that would be similar to an aim point, the old comp M's. I just shot that thing. I zeroed. It took me 2 seconds to zero that thing in. The dot's fantastic, but here are the red dots. It's the AMG. I know it is. Yeah, AMG UH1, the Razor, and that is what I have on all my rifles that I had EOTechs on. I've switched over to them with the 3x. So Vortex, fantastic. And then I have a little Spark on one of my 300 blackouts too. So, but Vortex, you can't go wrong with Vortex. They do a great job over there. As far as the medieval technology, medieval industries, Vortex, Fort Scott Munitions, Maxim Defense, um, Other than that, I still think Radian makes very good charging handles, some of the best out there. I do prefer Spike's tactical flip up sights, backup. I used to have Magpoles, and then I started using Spike's, their flip ups, and I think they make some of the best flip up sights. And as far as suppressors go, I have an integrated suppressor on one of my Spikes rifles. It's a Spikes upper and lower with a maximum defense CQB buttstock on it, but then it had an integrated Gemtech suppressor. But that was before Gemtech broke up, and and they were bought by some Winchester. They were bought by somebody. And I know the Gemtech suppressors haven't been what they used to be when it was just Gemtech. So I have a Gemtech suppressor, but it's the older one prior to them getting bought and dismantled by I can't remember. It was one of the big gun companies that did it. So I'll be honest, I don't even know which suppressor I'd recommend nowadays. If it was still the old Gemtech, I'd recommend Gemtech because that's what I like. And you don't get a lot of blowback and a lot of gas in the face. And then as far as calibers go, I still like 300 blackout. I prefer 300 blackout, but I do have a 7.62 by 3.9 PDX. I just dropped the CMC single stage trigger in it, so it's like shooting a freaking 5.56. There's no it's a single stage trigger. Any new shooters, stay with your standard trigger until you get used to where your pull is and how short you have to go ahead and the train of thought right now is how sure you have your trigger reset is, because you don't want to put a single stage in there if you're a new shooter, because you could have a catastrophic accident. You work your way up to it. But if you are an avid shooter, man, CMC, drop a single stage AR trigger in one of your ARs and just see the difference. And I have also one of my 5.56, and it feels like I'm shooting a little 22 long. 22 long. It's awesome. She down here, sweetie pie. You can put my son on there.
No, it's okay.
Good job, big boy. You're doing it. You're awesome with Sissy. She's upstairs doing homework with my little girl. But yeah, the CMC trigger, the single stages, and then as far as pistols go, I think pistols. There's just so many different ones out there. I like STIs. I don't really like the ethics at the company there, but I think they make good pistols. Glock still makes great pistols. I mean, you want to hate Glock, but you can't. You just can't. They make good stuff, and they're simple, and they're going to shoot in any sort of condition. I'll put a different trigger in it. Again, another CMC that I'm putting in. I haven't put it in it yet, but I'm going to as soon as they send it to me. But again, I always recommend work with what your standard trigger is in there before you start messing around and putting lighter triggers in there, because you will shoot yourself. You're going to shoot yourself if you're not. And even guys that are avid shooters, I've known guys that are avid shooters that have shot themselves with them light race gun triggers, man. So just be careful with that. But I prefer CMC triggers. I think they're freaking awesome, and they're good people there in Texas. And that's normally what I have dropped into my guns if I want to redo a trigger. Yeah, as far as that, I'm a big 4-in grip guy. So yeah, medieval technologies. But if you're not a big four grip guy, then I still would check them out if you're shooting long range and you need a bipod or their little QD tripod mount is, dude, it's incredible because you can move 360 on it. I mean, you can actually be in uneven ground and still get in a great natural firing position because you can move because it's on a little ball bearing. You can move that QD mount around, so it doesn't have to be straight up and down, and you still have a solid 3 points of contact. So yeah, long range shooters, dude, I would definitely have you check out that QD mount and then just build what you have. And if you're watching me, I'll put stuff on there that I put on. But those are what I prefer. All those companies is what I prefer to put on and use on my guns. But again, if you said, here's a gun, I'm going to take it from you and shoot it. I don't care what's on it. But that's just what over time, that's what I've learned. And I definitely do prefer to use is all those companies there.
Final thing would be just give us a little update on Battleline Tactical, where it stands now, and what the plans
Yeah,
are moving forward.
well, we're good. We'll probably do. Hey, yeah, right. You got kids too. Awesome. I hear that's fantastic. I love hearing that, brother.
Yeah, I just
Um,
had to mute him.
no, you're good. I don't. I love it. Um, the Battleline, we're still running. We're next year because of my schedule and there's so much that I've enjoyed being at home now. I don't want to travel as much, so next year we'll do 6 courses next year. We have main ranges that we prefer to use, the ones that we can actually get out and train. Not a lot of guidelines, and not saying the guidelines are bad, but indoor ranges, it's hard to do stuff that we really want to do. It just comes to being a fundamentals course where people that come to our courses, they want to run, they want to get out and move, and that's what I want to teach you. I want to teach you how to shoot on the move and have that adrenaline up a little bit. So, but we have courses this year. We did have to cancel the Nevada course because the state of Nevada shut down. We just had to, and I say cancel. We're pushing it, so we'll reschedule it as soon as we're able to. We just had to push our Indiana course there at Briggs Core Dynamics there with Scott Wheeling because the mayor, the governor of Indiana, is closing Indiana down, and he's and also there's we had 3 doctors in that course, and they all recommended that we and I'm going to listen to a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Doctors don't tell me how to clear a room. Doctors, I'm not going to tell you how to. I'm not going to tell you how to diagnose and recommend if we should have courses due to this virus right now. So we had 3 doctors that recommended that we pushed it as well. That we're coming to that Indiana course. So that's what we're doing. We're going to push that one till probably August or September. But then we have courses. We have one in Chicago coming up that's still on, South Chicago, but we'll make that decision 2 weeks out. I foresee the majority of our courses will be pushed left till when, and then once the president says, okay, we're back to normal, well, then we'll have them. But the following year, 6 courses. Our main ranges are out there at the compound where Devad Defense, Daniel Lombard has an outdoor ranger, fantastic range, South Chicago and Crete. We have one at Tread Proof Training, which is in Eaton, Tennessee, which is west of Nashville. Fantastic range too with Doc Maurer, and he does one of the best ballistic courses you'll ever take if you get out there on this course. We always do a ballistic course. He actually does a ballistic course every year at the NRA convention as well. It's his range, fantastic range, and also his sons are tremendous shooters. And then we also have we use Defender Outdoors in Fort Worth. Usually that's during the wintertime. It's an indoor range, but we can still get a lot done there because they have a shoot house upstairs. And then we have a Full Spectrum Warrior, which is out in Florida. That's Rich. He's a former Navy SEAL and outdoor range. Again, a great guy. We all believe in the same sort of training when he says full spectrum because we always have combatives, pistol and rifle. So we add it all in, which we both believe is essential. Not just shooting. You need to learn everything else too. You get in with the edge weapons too. We have an edge weapons course that we run here in Omaha with my old edge weapons instructor, Kris Donor. Through Marshall Blade Concepts. So I do believe we're still going to have a ton of courses, but this year, guys, you just got to be flexible with us. If you sign up for a course, 99% is probably going to be canceled if it's before. I shouldn't say canceled. It's going to be pushed if it's scheduled to be before September, just because that's the road our country's going, and all of our other courses have been pushed already too. My boy, I love that little boy. All right, I'm sorry, brother.
No, no,
Sorry.
no.
Go.
I guess the final thing would just be anything else you'd like to say to our readers, or I think we're good to go.
No, I think no. I just really appreciate everybody out there, and remember, just keep your head, stay calm, prepare. The gun owners out there, Hey, you want to get a new gun? This is the best time to talk your wife into getting you a new gun. So go do it. You need one, go grab one, but don't buy them all up like everybody buys up all the toilet paper, because then I won't have any more. So just buy one, maybe 2. That's it. No, just keep your heads. And everybody out there just needs to remember, this is a good time. This is a good reset. This is a reset for family. And this is really, when I get out and run and go outside now, it looks like it did when I was growing up, with the kids outside and the people walking and people bike riding. So if you're in an area that you can do that, get out and do that. You're going to be happier. You're gonna see things and you're not gonna see them as bad and terrible. It's gonna be, oh my gosh, it's just how life was when I was growing up, and that's honestly, I felt like it was better than with this fast bustle of life that we have nowadays with all these partisan politics. People, if they cared, they really didn't even let you know. But I don't think most people even gave a shit, to be honest with you. They just wanted to be a family. So I think this is, guys, I take this as a good thing. What's going on right now is a definite good thing. And if you don't believe me, get in your Bible and reload, get some faith in your life, and remember your family. And yeah, and then if you have a ranges open, go shoot. Pew pew therapy is always good. And that's what I do. And I'm sure you do too. If you have a range, I don't know, do you have a range that's open there, brother? Or
We do,
not?
yeah. And in fact, with this new upper I've got coming, I need to do that. So
Sweet. Wait, what's upper? What do you got coming? Is it
it's a Knights
Knights?
Yeah, Knights Mod
Yeah.
2, 16-inch. I just figured
Good.
now, like you said, it was a good time to buy another one, and our distributor had a few still available. So
Dude,
price
that's
was
awesome.
right. And
Price right. I threw a Ranger. I on my 16-inch. It's a 2A. 2A armament one. I threw one of those Ranger HDs on there, and it's, wow, man. I mean, it might as well be a. I wish I would have had this, because I can't even see 300 meters anymore.
right. I've also got that my buddy sent me it's a company called Dirty Bird Industries, which I've shot some of their stuff before. Now, and it's a good rifle, and so I've got a 16-inch Dirty Bird Industries AR that kind of set up as a recce rifle. So I need to shoot that, and I've got a Vortex 2 to 10 that I want to throw on there and just see how that goes. But that one looks good too. So yeah, I need to get out there. But
send me some pictures. I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks so much. And like I said, I might actually turn this into a little bit of a podcast, just because.
Dude, I would be honored.
Because I start chopping this up as I would usually do, and I think we'd lose a little in translation. So, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for being a positive force out there. So I think it means a lot to people.
You too, brother. And yeah, keep your head up, man. It's just keep being a dad, and it's gonna be fine, man. Believe me. And we all feel like that. Everybody has. I know what that feeling you're talking about. Just use it constructively. It's a chance for you to give you some energy to be constructive. Don't panic, and don't go down that slippery slope, because once you do start going down that slippery slope, it's hard to climb back up, man. Because don't let yourself do it. But know that it's normal. You're just as strong as me and everybody else out there, man. Every other damn Ranger, Delta, whatever. Every one of us has those feelings, especially when it comes to our family. It's just how you use it. That's all.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
All right.
Take care. Have a good one. We'll talk again soon.
All right, brother. God bless you, man.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.